Welcome back to Banished Souls. Captain Cryptic here. So I've been getting a lot of messages here on YouTube and even on our Discord. What is the best way to beat the pest? What is the best armament to do? Well, first things first, you're going to want to make sure you have 10 people at least. You can squeeze it out with 9 now that they've dropped the health down 24% on him, but you need 10 people to make that an effective grind to get the cosmetics for your ships. So what are we using for weapons? Well, we're going to explain what we're using here for weapons and why. Then I'm going to take you down to the area and show you a strategy. Uh, your first thing for your bow, you're going to want to have a twin winch ballista or a Great Spring All 3 or something that's going to give you some long range. Of course, the double winch ballista here, the twin winch, is going to do the most damage. And what you're going to do is you're going to shoot that at his weak points, and you will notice as you hit his weak points, they start to disappear. Those are the little red areas on the side. He's going to start leaking green smoke out of the rear of his ship, and suddenly a red barrel will actually appear. And you want to be hitting that thing with this. Now, for the rest of our weapons, we're using the Fire Bombard 3s. That's a good medium range weapon. It's giving some extra explosion damage that will be able to hit those weak points without having to pinpoint accuracy as you're running, because once he starts to proc that smoke as you're taking and doing the most damage to him, whoever's getting the most successful hits on that weak spot on that drum is who he's coming after, and he's going to be spewing green smoke when he comes, and if he gets close to you, game over. So I've seen some people suggest having heal builds. Let me tell you, when you're in that situation, you're quicker to be able to hit a health repair than to wait around and see if somebody can heal you. You need full penetration, full aggression on this thing. Don't bother. If you got a guy who's using just heals, you're crippling your crew. You have one less person putting out that effective DPS on him. So then, of course, when we get down to our auxiliary weapon, I've been using the Leopold 3. The Fire Bombard 3 is probably another good one that you could use. I've had a few people say that they used the Le Fleur, which doesn't actually damage Le Peste as far as his health, but they're claiming that it gets rid of his brace, so that's something you can consider. I know most of us use the Leopold 3 on that, or the Fire Bombard 3, just for the extra damage that thing can put out when he starts to send out a smoke, launch all your Leopolds and all of your auxiliary weapons straight out the rear of his ship to be doing damage to that weak spot on the back, and just be hammering away with that ballista. That's going to be the key. That's going to be the big trick to it. So now that we have this ship set up, oh, well, I guess we could discuss armor. I've showed you a lot of the armor builds that we use, so I do use the Wailing Ward when dealing with the pest. Between him and those ships, it's going to be that deciding factor that gives you that extra second or two to hit a health and restore your stamina. You're going to be hitting food, you're going to be hitting health, and trying to get out of those green mist areas as he's traveling across. Great shield to be using. I mean, that's what it's there for, guys. Then, of course, on our furniture, I'm using the water tank. I'm using a Bombard powder house, the sticky fuel station, and the Lepontent schematic. And then I have a demi cannon work, which is just something I need to actually change that out with something, because I run this with demis when I do my other farming for 8s and stuff like that. But you would come in and you would change that over to something such as, let's find it, the ballista grinder. It's going to increase your ballista. The speed of it by 15%, so which is going to increase the accuracy too. Now that we've got all that taken care of, folks, let us go to a fast travel point. I will show you down here where he is at, what his general approach is going to look like, and then when you want to actually start shooting at him, because you can waste a lot of ammo if you're not doing this correctly. So we're going to end up coming down here. What's going on? Okay, holding B's not sending me back to the ship. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It's going to be one of those days. Okay. Anyway, so he's going to approach. Here's that tower. You're going to have some fleets up in here. Typically what we do is we'll have a man parked down here, about 3 or 4 of us, and we'll shoot the ballistas over at the towers, which is going to cue the Le Peste fleet to come and attack you. Okay, and once you're within the gold range, which starts right about here, it's going to call Le Peste. So try to deal with this tower ahead of time. It's less smoke on the water. It's less ships that you're going to have to deal with. La Peste is going to approach from this northwest section coming in. It's going to come all the way down toward the land. You're not going to be able to do any damage to him. And as soon as he gets here, he's going to turn around. And at that moment, he's going to be susceptible. As soon as he begins his turn, he's susceptible to take damage. Start dumping as much firepower as you can on him at close range, far range, however you can do it. But be watching for that cue of the green smoke, because at that moment, you need to be getting some distance away from him. That's where the fire bombards come in. And of course, once you see the drum actually appear on the back of his ship, that's when you're going to shoot it with those ballista. Fire all your mortars at it and just keep dumping bombards. You're just rocking the boat left and right, left and right, left and right. Let's see if we can finally actually get on our boat this time. Something is going on with the game, unfortunately. Let's see if we can fast travel somewhere else. We'll show you what that technique should look like. That's something that started here recently with the last update that we received, the one where they've brought La Peste down, is sometimes you'll fast travel to a location and you can't even board your ship. So what you do is just fast travel to the next location, try to get that embark emblem, and then set sail from there as soon as you move. You don't have to go through and reboot the game. It's just something that happens. Whatever it was that was keeping you from interacting to collect 8 seems to have moved into that system as well. So it's probably a piece of coding they've missed somewhere. So while you're fighting La Peste, you're going to get a good range, a good distance. I recommend something around, see about how far this ship here is. It's about that distance, about 200-300 meters if you can. That's going to give you a good shot at his weak points. You can zoom in a little bit, and you would just hit his weak points. And we got us a dolphin. See if we can collect it. But that's what you're going to do, is you're going to shoot him as fast as you can. And as you're aiming, you're going to be aiming. You can aim for sails if you want to. It's going to do a little bit of damage. And of course, rock the boat. And just keep rocking back and forth. But you want to be hitting weak points on La Peste. His ship's going to be about twice the size of this brigantine here. You're going to be able to see the weak points a little better too. Now, if you have guys with demi cannons, after he has completed the green smoke and it has dissipated from the area, you're going to be able to tell it's a lighter green in the sky, but not as much haze around him. You can then approach him with demi cannons. And what you do when you have the demi cannons, you're going to aim for all the weak points that you can find, just like we would with this guy or any other ship for that matter. And let's go ahead and take this DMC out because he's going to be a problem for us. But you got to watch, because if this was La Peste, he would then start with the green smoke from the rear. We could actually queue that up, but I've already used the contract for today with a bunch of guys, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow to actually bring La Peste out, unfortunately, unless somebody in the server brings that up. But that's what you're going to do. Same as any other ship. Aim for weak points, and try to keep your distance. You need medium to long range weapons with that. You can do suicide runs using the demi cannons and stuff, and that can be very effective. But understand, you're going to die, so don't carry a lot of food with you. You want to carry just enough to what you're going to need to get into the area, hit them as many times. When you die, if you're using something like the bark, this is the reason I use this build, so I don't have to carry the repair station with me, or the maintenance forge as it's called. I don't have to put an Ouroboros on or anything. I can make sure that I'm boasting against the gas as much as possible, but I'm also getting that heal for the permanent damage or the severe damage that can happen when you're fighting and you get sunk and you have to come back in. You're going to face that a lot with La Peste, but you're going to need 10 guys, man. You're not going to come in here with 2 or 3 guys and beat him. I know that there's a few claims, you'll see them even in our comments at times. Oh, we beat him with 3 people. Okay, well, you're not talking about the Blighted Bastion mission, which takes place here. They're talking about the free roaming La Peste that just kind of spawns out in the world. And yeah, he's real easy to beat in comparison to this Blighted Bastion mission. But that is what you're going to want to use, the setup that I use, the setup that most of our guys use. Now, understand, when you've got enough barks, you've got 10 to 12 barks in an area, that status effect heal that comes off of it is helping everybody. It's helping heal their permanent damage. So you're only doing not just yourself, but your teammates a favor by using the bark on this mission. Now I know that there's a lot of people who prefer brigantines in the snows and things like that, and that's great. But when you play as a team, you have to come up with strategy that's going to strengthen the team as well. So I do recommend using this build for the bark on this. Hope this has helped you out a little bit. We've had requests for a few videos on it, so figured it's time to put it out. I thought we had one, but I guess it was more or less we were in battle just kind of talking about it. So now you know how we're building. Y'all have a wonderful day. If you like what you see, guys, hit that subscription button. It helps us out. Give us a thumbs up. Comment in. If you're looking for a group of dedicated gamers that are not just playing this game, but a lot of other games, we don't badmouth the game. We enjoy it for what it is. We're the group you're looking for. I know there's a lot of groups that are out there, and within that, you're going to have those negative aspects where all they do is down a game. We don't tolerate it. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy the game. So if you have true love for Skull and Bones and you're looking for a team, we'd love to have you. Have a wonderful evening, guys.